This is Redkeekee,
And this is Mage.
and we're about to jump into whatever game this is, F5...
6, I believe.
6 with Persuade, DFM, Humanstar, so let's jump in here. We were having some technical difficulties earlier. Okay, so first speed 1, sync 1100.
Are you thinking now, or?
Yeah, I just typed it. It should just take
Okay.
us... Oh, sorry, let's do it one more time. Let's do sync
Okay.
1200. Ready?
Give me 1 second. Alright, count it down.
3, 2, 1, click.
Okay, I'm at 1200 right now.
I'm at 12, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23.
I'm at 12. I'm a few seconds ahead, it looks like. Just hit 12:45 now.
Okay, looks good.
Okay.
And Ugri is saying it sounds okay. Cool, so the stream is not broken, and we're casting. Okay,
Alright,
everybody.
So let's start in the top left corner. We have Firedragon here with the Farseer first. An interesting hero for this map, but it does have some advantages we'll get into later. In the top right, we have Humanstar, who is going for an late altar build. He will presumably go for an Archmage, which, yes, he has just gotten it. In the middle right, in the surround position, we have Persuade, who is just about to finish up his Archmage. He's in a surround and in a tough spot here. And bottom right, we have DFM, who's going the Tavern build, and yep, he's just gotten the Dark Ranger.
Alright, so we were talking about our first attempt here, a little bit about how Persuade is now heading towards the center mine to pick up his first expansion as the middle mine here. I think that this is an excellent choice, and his surround puts him in a good... These creeps are a little bit easier to creep, especially with the Archmage. He won't take much damage because of his summon, and he will be able to get an early gold advantage on whoever he chooses to break out on, if he chooses to break out. So yeah, I think that this decision to expand to the middle is a great call.
Yep, absolutely. If we look down at DFM, he's currently creeping the greens with his Dark Ranger. These give some early skeletons, which can be used to tank the natural expansion. It's a very easy creep with a lot of very low-level creeps who can provide a lot more skeletons as well. He should be able to make it out of here without really ever having an archer or his main hero hurt at all.
Disable the ping.
Okay. And I'm not sure where your cursor is per se, however, on the left corner we have Persuade scouting Firedragon. He has gone for Wolves first, so it'll be interesting to see what he skills for his second choice. Farsight would be an excellent ability to have on this map because it's so small you'd be able to look at pretty much everything. However, Chain Lightning would do some more DPS. In his position, I would think he would go for Farsight. He's got the best spawn position by quite a bit, and it would really help out. He's currently going by Persuade, who managed to steal the market there, which is a nice creep for him with only 3 foot, and has gotten him to an early level 2. It also looks like everybody except for Firedragon currently has an expo up. Humanstar has gone to his left. Interestingly enough, DarkFlameMasters actually expanded towards Persuade, which is normally considered to be a bit bad-mannered and perhaps a bit pushy. That could be the deciding factor on who Persuade wants to break out on, although he's a little bit more level-headed than that. Ordinarily, you would want to expand away from the surrounded player, just because it's common courtesy and they only have X number of spots that they can expand to. If they can't expand, then they're going to be forced to go ahead and attack you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the decision to expand towards Persuade would probably be an indication that he's expecting that there's going to be some tension between them. He anticipates he's going to be fighting Persuade. Looks like his Dark Ranger down here is just hit level 3. This is going to be great news. I think the Dark Ranger is an excellent choice on this map because there's so many low hit point creeps, so many skeletons, easy to get the awesome Imba item at the big player spawn gold mines here. Looks like he's going to creep the the Enraged Wild King with an AOW here, which I think is great. Great choice as well. You can just get some free skeletons. None of them are going to die.
Yep, and a nice use of silence as well. He does have that pendant of mana, which provides a lot of extra bonus points. And the Centaur Impalers do a lot less DPS when they're silenced. That Flame Arrow really helps him out a lot. And between the AOW and his skeletons, he should also creep this without really losing any hit points. So he's going to be in great position. And touching a bit back on what you're talking about, it really is a great hero choice, especially against human. He's picked up the Panda second. If he did decide to rush in on Persuade, which I'm not sure why he would, it would be a very deadly combination now because Persuade does not have any arcane towers in his base. He actually lost to Fail Life last round in pretty much the exact same manner. The peasants go down just so quickly, and you can very easily become overwhelmed by dark minions in your base.
Yeah, talk a little bit about this choice from Firedragon. His very first expansion is going to be 3 mines away from his main base. I'm not 100% certain his thought process. Any ideas? I mean, to me that seems a little counterintuitive. If somebody decided to get the jump on him, he's not able to defend it as well. Looks like we have a little bit of a skirmish
the only
here.
thing, yep, doesn't look like DarkFlameMasters pursuing too much in Firedragon. Up, maybe he's come back. Nope, he decides it's not worth the fight and backs off here. As I'm saying that, of course, he comes back again. So let's see what goes on here. Looks like that's a grunt down, so one early little item goes to DFM, but DFM is going to back off here. He doesn't really want to fight. He wants to creep, get everything off the map, and get as many expansions as possible.
Yeah, looks like...
But yeah, let's go back to that expo a little bit. If nothing else interesting is going on, because I do think it's a very interesting choice. The only thing I can think of is as expansions get closer to your base, then they become kind of safer mines. You're allowed to have those in what we'd consider free-for-all etiquette. People aren't as likely to attack them. So if you drain from the outside in, you're likely to get more gold out of it.
Right.
However, it's really taken him a long time to get up. I mean, you can see that DFM already has 2. Persuade has had his up for 2,000 gold. He's about to pick up a second one, it looks like, by these peasants walking around. And he has the creep on the other side. And Humanstar's actually put up his third right next to Firedragon, which is really interesting. And I think Firedragon's going to be at a big loss of gold right now.
Yeah, certainly got a slow start here, and with the position that he's in, I think that expanding aggressively is really the right choice. I don't know if I like having 2 bases at the second day 9 o'clock mark.
Yep,
Really
I've got
right
it
choice.
great, especially because the expansion's not even done yet. I mean, everybody else has at least 1,000 gold per expo, jump on him, and more in some cases.
Yeah, I really like DarkFlameMasters' extremely aggressive play here. He's gotten 2 of the large creep camp spawns. He's grabbed himself some rune bracers, Brutes of Quel'Thalas.
Yeah, if you want to go back up to the top, Firedragon's actually currently skirmishing with Humanstar. He apparently does not like that expo being there. It'll be interesting to see if Humanstar decides to defend or not, because currently he's walking around with just an Archmage. There's really not a whole lot that he can do, so he does use a little bit of manip and chat here to try and get him to back off. So that was a nice play by Humanstar because he really has nothing to back it up. He's at 47 food, and that's pretty much pure peasants and 2 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, this decision, this chat, I don't know, Firedragon's probably going to end up fighting Humanstar anyway. Humanstar's probably going to be attacking him. I probably would have just killed that expansion in his shoes. I mean, expanding right next to my main base seems like something I wouldn't stand for if I were in Firedragon's shoes.
Yeah. If it was a surround and he was right next to him, that's a little different, but he's a full spawn away from Humanstar, and Humanstar is clearly reaching, to put it nicely. I think most players would have taken that down, but who knows, maybe Firedragon has a different plan going in. Maybe he thinks it's not worth it and he should just sit back and hoard this game. He does have great position, and it's unlikely he'll be noticed early on, unless Humanstar decides to push him.
He also does have the entire left side of the map to just sort of expand at his will, whereas Humanstar is sort of tucked in between, kind of surround, but not really. So maybe he feels like if he plays a little bit more passively, Humanstar will give him a free pass later. Not sure here, but
it does look like he is getting the last of those expos on his side. I actually don't see any peons coming to expand them yet, which is kind of interesting. I would expect him to try and get as many expos up as possible. Instead, he's got a fairly large army compared to everybody else. I mean, it's only 50 food, but it actually has 3 wyverns, a grunt, the centaur, and a headhunter, as well as 2 heroes. So that's a little bit interesting in my opinion. It does look like DFM is actually going to go ahead and hit Persuade now. I think this is actually a really good choice for him. Persuade is at 62 food, but DFM is at 65, and he's going to get a ton of dark minions here.
Yeah, I think that DFM is just taking Fail Life's lead here, but it's a little bit later in the game. I think Persuade's going to be able to defend this no problem because he actually has units and production facilities this time. He's already T3. Fail Life did hit him at the 9-minute mark, or maybe it was the 7-minute mark. It was extremely early, whereas, well, Humanstar's going to come
I like the
rescue
fact
him.
that Humanstar's actually in here and going ahead and taking out some units, getting some experience where he can. I think that's very interesting, and I honestly don't know what any of the players' reactions are going to be. He's probably going to try and snipe level 4 for that Archmage. It does look like DFM is a bit unhappy about that.
Yeah.
And Humanstar really appears to just be dicking around and maybe trying to steal a level here. Persuade is in good position, though. I think Persuade is going to counter and hit DFM. Versus the Dryads and the Dark Ranger Panda combo, the Spellbreakers are going to be very crucial. Their abilities really should make DFM's heroes not nearly as ferocious as they normally would be.
Now, I just saw DarkFlameMaster use the Tome of Retraining on his Pandarian Brewmaster. I wonder what that was all about. Maybe he's going for the crit Panda because of all the Spellbreakers. I'm not sure. He's got a Pendant of Mana.
I think that's probably what it is. I think he doesn't want haste to be put on his own units with the bears there. So I think he's going to go ahead and stack Drunken Brawler with Breath of Fire.
Yeah, I mean, multiple Breaths of Fire seems fine.
Nope.
No?
Okay, maybe he
made a mistake
misclicked and got
Yeah,
level
maybe he made a
3. Yep,
mistake.
that must be what it is. And that bear is really low. Down goes one bear, and a nice surround on the Panda, but it's Paladin gets away. Sorry about that.
It's a nice
Good staff. Let's see if that rifle goes down. Bear is looking pretty low. This is not a good fight for DFM right now. He should probably get out.
Persuade's got the food count on him, and that is just a really strong human combo. DFM does have superior upgrades, though, at this point. Archmage is getting a little low.
Yep,
Nice
and he did pick up the Keeper of the Grove 3rd, which is interesting, but he is losing a lot of bears right now. I don't see any staffs on his heroes currently, which is interesting, and probably something that should be rectified ASAP. And it's interesting, he's currently just focusing down these rifles. With the Archmage looking low like that, I would expect a little more focus on that with the Keeper of the Grove, I think. There he goes. Gets that Entangle off, and he's going to have to TP out. There we go. So Persuade ends up TPing out, but I think the fight went in his favor. And if you... Humanstar is coming in to try and see what's going on, but we've got 2,000 gold for DFM and 500 for Persuade, so
looks like
that is the
Humanstar
one
is
advantage
breaking.
that DFM has.
Mass Griffins. Looks like he's planning on fighting the Orc, who's already in his expansion.
Yep. And no fight currently, but it shouldn't be long for him, and I think Humanstar is going to have a pretty big advantage here, unless Firedragon changes up his army pretty soon.
Checking Persuade's main base back here, we've got DarkFlameMaster.
Paladin looking...
Paladin's looking low.
Pretty weak,
Might have to
yep.
buy a potion. Oh, got staffed right at the last
Ooh,
minute.
nice staff, and he'd already bought the potion, so that was not an option. And Dark Ranger TP's out. Let's see if he can get one more kill. And nope, good save on the Archmage there. Going back, it does look like Humanstar is getting ready to fight Firedragon. Down goes that Expo. It's interesting he chose that Expo and not one closer to him to hit. Maybe he's going to work his way out and make Humanstar TP to him.
Oh, it's interesting Humanstar's chosen to go to 83 here. I don't know if that was a misclick or if he really is going 100 this early. He does have 2,000 in the bank.
He does not have the capability to go 100 yet, and I don't see another farm being built.
Yeah, not yet. He just lost
I think
that
he's going to have to
haul.
drop back to 80.
Yeah, that would probably be wise, but he didn't cancel. Looks like he's building his farms up in the top now.
And
Looks
he'll
like-
lose that night quick enough, and then I'll be back.
Alright, another fight here for
Nope, he
Persuade.
does look like he's going for... Yep.
Focusing down on
And-
Dryads, excellent.
Yep, Triads are really in bad position here.
This Panda could go down.
Persuades Panda. Yep, down goes Panda. So that's one down. But overall, it's still Persuade has the food advantage currently. But down goes that Paladin too.
Yeah,
And
fight is
the
not
Dryads
going well
are
for
just
him.
barely maintaining enough mana here. 2 more bears come in. That is an excellent thing for DFM, assuming he actually, there we go, changes them into bear form. And another
DFM has a
this is a
huge
bad
advantage
fight.
on Persuade here, with in terms of gold. That tank in the bottom left was sort of just hanging there without doing anything for a little bit, but yeah, Persuade doesn't have any gold to replenish his army, and DFM's coming hard.
Persuade did manage to take out 1 Expo though, and it looks like the second Expo would be taken out by those tanks as well, but if he doesn't manage to rebound here, it's not going to matter worth anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down goes that shop. It's always a good idea to focus shops first. You don't want heroes being able to pick up items. That's kind of 101 in any type of Warcraft, but it's especially important in free-for-all. Hopefully DFM, for his sake, will start focusing down those mortars soon. Persuade did pop a scroll, so he has Roar on his units, but it's not doing him a whole lot of good right now except for those mortars.
I think that was Spell Steal, but
okay.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Not looking excellent for Persuade. He might be looking at 10 points here.
Yep, and in 2 games, which is not what you like to hear if you're a player. That would effectively knock him out of any semifinal competition unless he won the next 2 games, which is certainly a possibility, and I don't want to count him out yet, but it's not looking good for him. That Archmage is going to be focused down pretty quickly. It does have a potion, but it still doesn't have very much hit points in general. Fortunately for him, the Panda does not have 70 mana, so he probably will let it get away, and I'm surprised he's not focusing the altar at all, to be honest.
Panda's coming back
out. Yep.
Yep. I don't understand why there's no militia in this fight yet. It seems like a poor choice here. Those bears are just sort of getting picked off.
I was going to say, the bear is not being bear form either. Looking up top, it does look like Humanstar and Firedragon are skirmishing a little bit. Nothing big happening yet.
Tanks are taking out the
DFM is still... Yep. But it does look like he's putting up some AOWs at one of his expansions, so if those go up in time, he does have 2 at one of the other ones already. That's always a good choice. As weird as it sounds, Ancient of Wars are pretty much the best counter that you can have to tanks. Paladin comes back, and let's go top left a little bit. We've got Firedragon focusing in on Humanstar. Interestingly enough, Firedragon is capped at 80, so if Humanstar does decide to go full 100, he's going to have a significant food advantage on Firedragon. You don't need to focus on it, but it does look like in his base he has a few Troll Bat Riders sitting around not doing anything. He is not building any more burrows, so he is only going to be able to fight at 80 no matter what, pretty much, which he only has 600 gold, so that might be...
Good stomp on that.
Not a huge deal. Yep. Mountain King down. And the Paladin is only level 1 currently, and that goes down too. Humanstar is going to TP out. He really got hurt pretty badly, it looks like, except for the fact that the tanks are going around and harassing Firedragon's Expos, but it does look like Firedragon is going to go take out the 2 tanks by his Expo.
Sweet.
And Humanstar did a nice job of saving a few Griffins. Yep.
Looks like the
Persuade
Griffin
Aviaries
in the center here for Persuade might be able to save him. He does have 2 expansions to DFM's 2 now. Ugh. He is starting to chip away at DFM's gold, however. And
yeah, but it's still 3,300. Not a
Divine Shield. Yes.
Ooh, good save on the Paladin, but it's going to be pretty much useless, I think, unless he seriously gets something to do. And DFM taking a nice approach, sitting back a little bit and healing everything up. I do not see any Spellbreakers currently. They are in the works, but that gives a free pass for Rejuve currently and Roar. So that's going to allow him to take down some buildings pretty seriously, pretty quickly. And, ooh, that's a pretty terrible staff on the Paladin, in my opinion. That's going to go down very quickly. Yep, that was a very risky call, but maybe nothing else he could do.
Mass teleport, however, and if he can hang in here, he's got Griffins building in the center, just finishing now. 2 Griffins are going to come join the fight from the left. He does have 0 upgrades in there now, however, to DFM's 3-1.
Yeah, Mass TP may be his only hope, but it's kind of a weak hope at this point, unless he decides to try and rebuild completely in the center, but it does not look like he's doing that currently. And that castle is going down rather quickly before this bear-dried entourage. Persuade decides to try and do something, maybe harass a little bit. There goes Charm.
Cause him big
Yep.
problems.
Interestingly enough, though, he still only has one staff, DFM I'm talking about, which is kind of odd. I like to get 3 staffs as Night Elf. I think you can never save too many units, and he's actually keeping a Ring of Protection +2 on his Panda, where he can sub that for a staff.
Looks like he made a mistake with his mass teleport. He didn't bring his friends.
Yep, it looks like he's going to try and come back and get them this time.
Yeah, it looks like Humanstar is doing some chatting, trying to get Firedragon to stop. But up top left,
Firedragon doesn't really have that type of personality. I think that Humanstar is not going to have a whole lot of luck with that.
Although he is winning the fight.
Firedragon is. Yep. And out goes Firedragon. Does look like DFM is going to take down this Panda. Yep, it's out of there. Spellbreaker's going to follow very quickly. Let's see if Persuade tries to rebuild somewhere or if he just calls it a game.
I think he'll probably try to cling in there. He's got his middle expansions. He might either put up some towers. Yep, he's putting up towers in the center now. He's going to try and stay
That's
50.
smart. He does have a full base here, yep. If he can go under the radar, and if Humanstar decides to hit DFM, which is certainly a possibility, Persuade could get back in the game.
Yeah, looks like we've got some manip going down for DarkFlameMaster. Persuade's calling him on it. The others don't look like they're buying it too much. Firedragon does agree to have a little ceasefire while they scout out what's going on between the other two.
And Firedragon is finally getting this 3rd expo up. He is really hurting for gold. If we go around and do a quick gold count, Firedragon's only got 500, Humanstar has 1200, Persuade has 700, and DFM has 5,000 despite taking somebody out. So DFM is clearly sitting in the driver's seat at this point, and probably they need to pay some more attention to him. Humanstar and Firedragon are back at it fighting. Clearly not what Humi had in mind when he said, let's take a little break here. But Firedragon apparently is going to have none of that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what DarkFlameMaster will try to do here. He still has not transitioned into any Chippo production buildings. He is finishing up 2 Ancient of Winds in his main base. His base is looking sexy. I wish I could build bases like this.
A player's forces are under attack.
And this is one of the few maps where not playing Chippo is actually pretty beneficial. This is a good map for Night Elf ground armies. It's pretty small, and the way that it's set up allows for the army to actually expand enough to be used. There's not a whole lot. You can do some over the cliff chimeras at them, but in general, it's probably the most Night Elf ground army friendly map in my opinion.
Yeah. But these 2 center expansions here, don't count Persuade out too quick. I think that there's always the chance. There was that one game on this map where Renaud had 2 expansions and got taken out early, but then built a big towered fortress in the center and hoarded 50 for like an hour and a half, and then killed everybody with 10k. So.
Oh, absolutely. It all depend on what DFM decides
here
to do from here. I think that unless Humanstar and Firedragon decide to stop dicking around and actually peace, though, DFM is not going to make the mistake of letting Persuade live. As long as they continue fighting, DFM is going to be able to just kind of clean Persuade up, and while those are a lot of towers, the Panda will take care of them relatively quickly.
Well,
and it does look like another fight is going on. Firedragon losing that expo, it looks like, and Humanstar is still actually relatively low leveled. He only has a level 4 Archmage.
He hasn't been winning the fights, but he does have a huge gold advantage.
Yeah. Firedragon doing a nice job of using the Orc casters here to really kind of focus down weak units pretty quickly. The casters for Humanstar have not been able to stay alive, really, and those wolves actually doing a decent bit of damage before they get dispelled.
Yeah, the chain lightning is coming in handy here.
A town is under
I do wonder if he's going to decide to reskill for Chain Lightning and Farsight at some point, though. I think late game those are probably the most useful options unless you're using the Wolves for scouting, but Farsight is just way superior for that.
Yeah.
And we've got another little expo contest going on here. Up at the top left, Humanstar is losing his expo that probably should technically be Firedragons, so I don't think he can be too offended about that. However, I do suspect he'll try and save it or either move to the next one and protect that one. Does look like DFM is going to go ahead and try and finish up Persuade here. Persuade has gotten up to 2,000 gold. However, he's capped at 42 food currently. So if DFM pushes right now, he is almost certainly not going to be able to do anything about it unless he can either use mass TP and harass the expansions or convince somebody else to come help him.
Yeah, he does have a lot of towers, and DFM does not have any siege capabilities, however, so... And with that Blizzard retrain, it looks like he's going to have a hard time getting in there with their Bears and Dryads. But...
Yep, that is a very nice retrain on it. We should spend a moment to talk about that just because a lot of human players don't really think to get rid of their water elementals. However, almost every army will be able to counter those, and they will not be able to counter Blizzard nearly as easily. Unfortunately for Persuade, he is not towered up as the other Expo nearly as much, and DFM is going to be able to take that out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
a player's forces are under attack.
Looks like DFM is getting just a couple expansions right now. I anticipate he's probably going to get teamed down pretty well here. Pretty soon here, rather.
He's certainly better. Firedragon has made it known, though, that he doesn't participate in teaming, which really could end up hurting both him and Humanstar quite a bit. They both have relatively low heroes compared to DFM, and if DFM is allowed to take Persuade out, then he could probably pick and choose and hit people at willy-nilly and random if he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think that he's going to go ahead and engage in any simultaneous coordinated attacking. He's tried to make it, and he's tried to make a point of not joint attacking, but making the correct teaming decisions. I don't personally understand the difference, but he feels that there's a large difference between coordinating your attacks and between just making the right attack decisions. So we'll see. I mean, I think they could just decide to only attack DFM for a while. It might still work out. I mean, Firedragon does have a lot of experience. Does know who's strongest right now.
Yep, and I'd be interested to see DFM take on Firedragon and fight. Ooh, that Keeper of the Grove's going down.
Yes.
Yep. See, this is why he should have that damn staff on the Panda. It could have saved it very easily. But still, those towers are very low. They do not even have their normal upgrades. They're still at heavy armor. The Panda is just going to be able to have a field day with those. And it looks like he'll probably pick up the Medicine Man. At least I hope he will. I think that would be an excellent addition to his army currently, because that would counter most of the effects of Blizzard very easily.
Looks like DFM's going 100, building some chims in his base here.
I mean, he's got the gold. He probably figures he might as well go ahead and knock somebody out while he can. He does not appear to be doing a great job of scouting the other two, actually. Maybe he just assumes they're continuing to fight each other. However, I think that would be some knowledge that would be handy to actually have, because at this point it wouldn't hurt him to be able to kind of just milk some more experience out of Persuade and keep gaining gold. I mean, he's not losing anything currently.
Yeah.
Or at least he shouldn't be. It does appear he is actually losing units, but that's probably just a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know about going 100 here. Humanstar's going 100 though. Looks like he's making the decision to go all out on Firedragon here.
Humanstar's never afraid to go 100 though. It's part of the reason we love him. Makes games interesting.
Yeah, Persuade's desperately trying to make more expansions, but DarkFlameMaster is keeping all mines occupied. Except for this middle one, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yep, and it does appear Firedragon's actually going 100 as well, and getting a lot more bats thrown into the mix, which is certainly a good call in my opinion.
Some chatting.
It does look like
some chatting from Persuade. 5 expos for red, he says, but they are not hearing him. I guess Humi thinks that he's got enough gold and he's confident in his play against elves that maybe it's just not going to matter. Not sure exactly.
I think he's worried that if he doesn't take Firedragon out, Firedragon will continue to hit him. Ooh, that was a pretty nice bat there. Did take out a couple of griffins. But at this point, I think it might just be kind of a fear that DFM will be able to team with one of them versus the other and just walk his way to an easy win. Maybe he feels like he can quickly take out Firedragon here if he goes 100. Although based on the game, Firedragon has put up excellent fights and has pretty much been winning all the fights, so I'm not sure why Humanstar would think he'd be able to do it easily. So maybe it's just he feels like he needs to go 100 in order to even keep up with Firedragon in the fights. Ooh, and that Mage is looking pretty low. There's a nice stomp on it. Quickly focused, but Firedragon is losing a lot of units while he's focusing. He's down to 58. There he is. He gets out of there. Ooh, but that Torn Chieftain is kept in. It has no TP. He should be able to pretty easily take this down. Lots of Dragonhawk Riders with only 1 or 2 hit points going on, so a very nice fight for Humanstar there. It does look like this is going to be a continued push, probably. Humi may go ahead and march down and take some of that out, or he may go directly for the base.
Yep. Looks like
Persuade does continue to expand his castle here. Yep. I guess DFM just one of those chims to take down the base, maybe. They do have unupgraded attack, and that is versus heavy armor, so those towers are going to go down very, very quickly. And the mortars are going to be essentially useless if he plays this right and keeps his dryads out of range.
Yep.
Good job sending that mountain giant in tank a little bit, and he should be able to go 1, 2, 3 on these towers. Persuade has got to be feeling a little uncomfortable with all that's going on, and I would not be surprised to find him mass teleporting out towards some other areas. He is sending those mortars running around, it looks like. He may be going to take down the Expos with them while fighting and try and get DFM to go ahead and TP back to save the Expo. Paladin looking very, very low. There goes the Archmage, and can we get the Entangle? Yep. Paladin does come out of it, does have a nice little visibility on it.
Some blizzard work here,
DFM actually,
like it's not enough.
Nice job by Persuade doing what he can here. I mean, he is 50 food under when the fight even began. So DarkFlameMasters not able to take this without any problems, but it certainly does look inevitable that Persuade will be taken out. But in comes Humanstar. He's probably going to try and gain some experience here. There are a lot of low chims that could be taken down very quickly.
Yeah, he could also choose to play cleanup here and get a little extra experience to help him in his fight. As opposed to saving...
there goes the TP.
As opposed to saving Persuade.
Yep, we'll see what he chooses here. It does look like he is going to just save Persuade. So Persuade has got to be feeling pretty lucky about that. He does still have 2 Expos up and running, however. So now would be the time that he could really go under the radar. I would not be surprised to see DFM decide to take out Humanstar when that happens. And it looks like Humanstar isn't going to continue to push the expansions for DFM. So I think your earlier prediction may be correct, and that Persuade may be able to fly under the radar for a little bit.
Firedragon's gone 50 here. He's already gotten up to 5,000 gold. He is mining on 4 expansions right now at 50, unchecked. So yeah, that's pretty good news for Firedragon. I wouldn't count him out one bit here.
No, absolutely, and he's got pretty good heroes. I mean, he's got 553. I'm not particularly excited about the Farseer hitting 6, but hey, level 6 heroes are never bad, and if it comes down to a base race, that would be super helpful.
A player's forces are under attack.
But I think that's a very nice decision going back to dropping down to 50. I think that once he realized that Humanstar was hitting DFM, and it's hard to see here, but Firedragon has done a very nice job of setting out his scout wards around his base.
Yeah, he can
while
see
we can
anything.
see the entire map because we're observers. Obviously, Firedragon's not able to, so that helps him out a lot and allows him to play the smart way that he is now. And he does have 4 expansions up and running, it looks like, and it looks like 1 just tapped, actually. So 3 expansions, sitting at 50. He could easily get himself up to 10 or 15,000 gold within 10 minutes.
Looks like Persuade accidentally broke 50 here. I wonder if he's going to kill off a Dragonhawk or two. Oh wow, he's going to just go for it.
Bold decision.
Wonder what that decision's all about.
I don't know. DarkFlameMaster
DFM is coming
I think
in
he's
for
probably
him.
just scouted DFM and realized he needs it, actually. Yeah, you're correct. DFM making the good move to go ahead and finish Persuade, in my opinion. You never know when it's going to come back to haunt you to leave a player alive like that. And if Humanstar leaves him enough time to actually finish Persuade off, then it will really be beneficial for him. However, I think Humanstar will probably go to his base or expansion to make him TP and fight. And this Mass Hawk army actually is going to be pretty annoying for DFM because those chims are most of his DPS currently.
Yep. Looks like a good
that
silence
Panda
freed
should
some
be
of
hitting
them.
it. Yep. But Firedragon is going ahead and hitting DFM as well, so DFM is in all sorts of
He's got
annoyance
3v1
right now. I don't want to call it
3v1
trouble
action.
yet, but yeah. Ooh, what on? Did he get staffed? I thought I saw teleportation going off, but apparently not. Oh, that was.
He may have been
Persuade's
choosing
teleportation
to.
then. Those are some very low chims there.
Yeah.
Um,
It's interesting that Firedragon is choosing to help, you know, kick down some of the expansions. I guess he wanted to. I'm about to lose FD. Some good manip there. Looks like, oh, but Humanstar is going to come into his main base. Didn't think you'd help Filth Human. Love it. Love the chat. I love the chat.
Never help a human. It will always bite you in the ass.
Oh dear, he's going 100, but we'll see if it's too late. Humanstar is especially deadly versus the Night Elf Persuasion. Firedragon.
Ooh, it looks like Firedragon may go ahead and pick off Persuade. Oof, good stomp, but just a little bit too late. Well done, Persuade, on getting that out, and we'll see if Persuade or Firedragon maybe decides to go ahead and pick off some more units from Persuade.
Now here's my comment. I'm just noticing that DarkFlameMasters is using a lot of chat versus Humanstar right now, whereas he may have convinced Humi to stop hitting him if he had noticed the fact that Firedragon was just harassing his expos at 50. You know, it's perfectly logical at this point to deduce that Firedragon has at least 10,000 gold, which he does, and Humanstar's been hitting DarkFlameMaster for the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes at 80, which he also knows. Oh, lost the Persuade Brewmaster. Poor Persuade. Love that guy. He's up to 2K.
Yeah, Persuade is not catching a break here. Yep. However, I think he's just going to continue to be a tome of experience for anybody that wants to walk in and get some. Firedragon actually just putting a scout on the expansion. And going to go ahead and TP in. Nice scouting. Ooh. Let's see if he can manage to... Nope. Persuade gets away, does not get ensnared by Hex Stomp there.
See, Persuade is a prideful motherfucker. I've noticed that he likes to constantly attack who's strongest, regardless, especially in matches. So even though Firedragon has been hunting him, and he really just needs to fly under the radar right now, he's been checking out the fact that Firedragon's at 50, I think, and that's why he's choosing to harass him. Although I could just be blowing smoke up his ass.
My explanation was just going to be as ADD and got bored, but we'll go with yours for now.
Firedragon, touch me again, I suicide you rest of game. Love that manip, that's great. It's because it's good. Because if he does it, it will annoy Firedragon, but you know, there's no reason that he'll have to. But it looks like FD's breaking 50 just to
there comes that Earthquake comes in handy here. And alright, so it looks like we'll have Humanstar fighting DFM. This could actually be a great stroke for Firedragon. If he can convince everybody that he is actually fighting Persuade and not just completely wrecking him like he is now, then they may leave him alone and not realize just how much gold he has. In addition, he may pick up some valuable levels. I mean, if he can get the TC to 6 and maybe get a level 5 off of the Shadow Hunter somehow, he would be just in great shape, especially if the other two lower their gold so much.
Yeah, DFM and Humi are exactly even on gold right now, it looks like, and Firedragon is walloping them. Persuade seems to be going out any second now as well.
Yeah, Persuade just... It's been one moment of close-o, he might be back in the game, followed by, nope, somebody else is hitting him again. So, tough game for Persuade. He should probably learn to actually build arcane towers in his main base. Yet again, he went towerless there, and that would have helped him significantly early on, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. If he's gonna play random, he's gonna have to learn how to build towers with human. I think it's just what it comes down to, because his human is what ends up killing him the most.
Yep, absolutely.
And without Firedragon is annoying.
Firedragon has killed off my entire base. To be fair, he did use his heroes to kill some of your heroes too.
Oh no, that panda's not in range.
Nope, and Panda's also under Sanctuary here. DFM, interestingly, is just at 71. I'm not sure if there's a particular reason for that. Maybe he blew up more bats than I saw. But he actually could be pretty vulnerable if the other two somehow decided to stop fighting. It does not look like they're going to, though.
Yeah,
DFM is solidly at 80.
DFM is doing a lot of chatting against Humi for how badly he is not losing. I don't know, it might just be underestimating Firedragon here, because I don't know, air battles versus Orc when you're down gold. No fun.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I think Humanstar would probably be a little bit more comfortable. I think Human has a better matchup versus Orc. I do think DFM should probably reevaluate at some point, since unless he goes for full ground army, he is going to be in some pretty serious trouble versus all those bats. He is handling this fight versus Humanstar very well, though. DFM plays a great game versus Human. He's able to rush them out, he's able to take them late game, and he's not afraid of tanks with his hero combination. We see that the Keeper of the Grove has just gotten 6, which hopefully will save some of these Chims. The Chimeras are super low. Does back them up a little bit. He does have enough units. Come on. TP out, TP out. There it is. Nicely done. This would be the time, though, to offer Humanstar a olive branch. He is at 37, just popped back up to 49 food. And he could be a serious pain if they do start fighting. Down here, we do have Firedragon found another hero, and he's really just gaining a lot of experience here.
Let's see. Playing for 4th. Oh dear, I don't think anybody has any idea how incredibly ahead Firedragon is right now with his 14k. Why is he at 56?
I'm not really sure about that.
I like Humi being at 50 here, though.
Yeah, that was a nice move.
Because
and also, talking about Firedragon and what Firedragon is doing, this would be a good time for DFM to do some more scouting.
Yep.
And Firedragon, actually, I'm not sure if he's just thinking that it would be good to get Persuade out before he gets suicided, or if he has gone up to 80, by the way.
Yeah.
If he's thinking that Persuade is actually the one that's probably the biggest threat in terms of calling him out on his manip and stuff. Humanstar is pretty happy to go ahead and fight anybody. He does have a good idea of what's going on, but he also is confident in his abilities to take on anyone at any time. And DFM has really not done a good job of scouting that I've seen, at least.
Yeah, he is sort of headlong into the human right now, but
the town is under siege.
And Persuade either continues
to
fight the strongest or suicide. But he may end up just feeding that more. There's a stomp, down goes the AM. Panda does not has invisibility. Let's see if it...
No.
And he has a ward there. Yep. Persuade may be trying to suicide, but all he's doing is helping Firedragon out currently.
Yep.
And Humanstar is back at DFM, hitting him at 50. I think this is a mistake if DFM gets really annoyed and decides to go ahead and hit Humanstar. He's been doing very well so far. He has the hero advantages, and they'll both continue to just lose gold.
Sam's gonna go down. Oh, we got staffed. Very good.
Nope. Good stuff.
Yep. Well, I think Firedragon did the right thing taking out Persuade. I mean, ultimately, we hate to see him go down, but the thing is, when you're the strongest, you want to take the weakest out. You want to knock someone out because he was in a position where he was going to get 3v1'd eventually. Especially considering how much he hates the coordinated attack, which is inevitably going to come if they catch on to how much gold he has, but... Yeah.
I think they're going to team DFM, actually. I think Humanstar is willing to continue hitting him, and I think Firedragon will be perfectly willing to go ahead and take one player at a time. I mean, he'll finish off Persuade, I think, but following that, I think that they'll coordinate attacks against DFM. I think that Humanstar has a good idea of how strong DFM, but probably is underestimating Firedragon's gold by about 10,000 or so.
Humi is massing gold like all games, feigning death with 20k. Oh dear. They're really just not about the Firedragon right now. Not keen on what he's doing. Excuse me.
Honestly, I think Firedragon could drop down to 50 and they wouldn't even notice.
Possibly, but he's looking to fight someone right here, I think. He's at 80.
He does seem to be the aggressive player, and, I mean, he could use a little more experience, I think. So I think he'll end up teaming one of the other two because he'll be able to pick and choose, basically, since both of them want the other one dead.
Level 8 Dark Ranger is nothing to gawk at. Ooh, that Tree of Life.
Yep, nice staff out, but poor Humi did not get the tree. Going around, let's do a quick gold count. DFM at 6,000, Humanstar at 7,000, and Firedragon at 15,000. Firedragon has successfully drained 2 mines on his side, has another one at 6,500, and one at 1,000. So you can really see he has drained a ton of mines so far. This is compared to, I think, Firedragon has drained 3 and is going to drain the 4th soon. Humanstar has drained 3, and DFM has drained 2.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting.
And Firedragon was at 50 for a while too.
I thought it was an interesting decision of Humi to let his expansion below his main go down with no fight, just staying at 50.
A town is under siege.
So they can get some more gold. Trying to build footmen. For whatever reason, I still don't know.
Just because he can, I think.
A player's forces are under attack.
Well, this will be the interesting 3-way then. I think DFM is beginning to get an idea that Firedragon has a good bit of gold going on. I think Humanstar is pretty much clearly in the weakest position now. He's sitting at 50 with only 7,500. His heroes are not nearly as impressive. He is human, and he does have mass TP, which is going to go right into DFM's base. This could be very interesting to see what goes on here. I think that Humanstar will try and mass TP or TP back out. This does not look like anything he will want to be a part of fight-wise. A nice silence on 2 of the heroes, but he did not silence AM, which will allow him to use mass TP to get back out if he wants to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I think that probably win right now. My reasoning is this: heroes are the heroes. So he's got great heroes for fighting armies, but his army's only going to last a little longer. He keeps them too much. You know,
A player's forces are under attack.
Firedragon have excellent hero arena heroes. And, you know,
I can agree with that analysis.
even though his heroes are monsters, he's only got 6.9k. And he's human, and he can just make it all out.
And also the heroes are likely to get him teamed. A lot of people never realize just how much gold has been used when fighting other people and stuff like that. And they see high-level heroes and they think, oh, that person must be the strongest. So that would easily be a kind of common calling point that Humanstar could use to rally against DFM is, look at his heroes, they're so much higher than ours. We only have 1 level 6 hero per person, or maybe 2 level 6 heroes in Firedragon's case, and he has 886.
I mean, when it comes down to just heroes, when there's no army behind that silence, haze, and entangle, you know, those heroes aren't doing
Yep,
crap.
exactly.
Rangers getting nuked down in 3 seconds.
Yeah, especially with the Paladin. Paladin hits level 5, that becomes an even more deadly nuke.
Elf needs gold. There are mines next to him. So he could.
There are, and he is rebuilding. He does have one mine going currently.
I mean, if Human gets off his case and lets him port a little
A
bit,
player's forces are under attack.
looks like they just want to keep.
I wonder, at what point do you think that DFM should drop down to 50, or do you think he should at all? I think you would be able to hold off Humanstar, who's also at 50, and his tanks with 50. The question would be, would he get called out on it, and would people notice?
Yeah, I mean,
The town is under siege.
at least they're not making any motions that show the fact that they are aware that Firedragon is hell. They're both using Firedragon
Nice staff on the panda there.
The town is under siege.
There are 3 at the bottom there. 4. DFM cannot lose any more chims though.
he might stay,
Although,
lose and go down to 50, and then, Humi can't make any tanks.
by all means, I think he should. I mean, he has 3 expos going up soon when this one finishes. I think that going to
Firedragon's about to make
50 would be a great call. Yep, Firedragon is going to come in and run train on either or because they're both so low though.
this is his moment. He's choosing the exact correct time to do this.
This will certainly be more interesting. However, I think you should go for DFM. I think that Humanstar is more likely to not be willing to compromise at this point, just because he lost his haul to DFM already. So he could probably finish off DFM with Humanstar and then just wipe out Humanstar right afterwards. Ugri agreeing with me, and it does look like that Firedragon may actually go ahead and do just that. He's walking right towards DFM's expo here. He's going to have to cancel, and very nicely done.
Forces are under attack.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the hell Humanstar is thinking right now. Is he playing dead already?
Yeah, he's definitely playing dead.
Seems
He should be.
pretty early in my opinion, but
Nah. He's only got 5,000 gold, no castle, no mines. Yeah, I don't think he's making the right call here. He's just gonna get batted down. They really need to have started moving Firedragon a couple minutes ago. We're getting to, I'm gonna do a segment on this in round review eventually, but what I like to call the moment of no return, when you're in a 3-way and you get to a position where the one guy is so far ahead, you can just wipe people out. We're getting pretty close to that time.
and the more that
Come in and just kill some.
Firedragon just wanders around, kicks expos, and doesn't do anything except let them suicide each other basically, the better it is for him. Makes a little bit of a less interesting game because you don't get to see Firedragon take on 2 people with his mass gold. But he's clearly doing the smart thing here. He's still got excellent wards all over the map, doing a very nice job of scouting, which is something that the other players are lacking right now. If they had scouting as nicely, if they had been scouting as nicely as Firedragon has been, then they most likely would realize just how ridiculously out of control he is. I mean, he is still mining.
Oh, finally we get some chat saying Firedragon live. Well, see if you guys trains first. Who just wants to get gold? That's what he cares about right now. So it seems. 16K and counting. Firedragon.
Yep. How would you feel about moving this up to ×2 speed? Alright, so you give a countdown? Okay, and we're at 2 times speed. Also, I'm having a hard time hearing you now. You need to speak up a little, move the mic closer maybe.
player's forces are under attack.
Okay, you can just yell into the mic then. Humanstar has gotten an expo back up. It's got 12,000 in it, so if he can mine this at 50, that would be pretty good for him. It does appear that DFM is now going ahead and scouting out Firedragon to see what's going on. Firedragon doing a little counter manip against him. He's decided that he really would like to take somebody out without them teaming him. He's going manip against both of them, trying to just figure it out, and DFM finally deciding that, oh wait, Firedragon's probably got a ridiculous amount of gold on him. 10k plus, it's almost 20k, so better late than never, I suppose, but it would be good if you figured that out a little bit earlier for your chances of winning. You only have combined 8,000 gold while he has 16,000, so that's probably not the best thing for you ever. He has taken out the last expansion building. I guess if a base race comes down, that would be important, but currently just not a whole lot going on here, except that Humi is going ahead and mining that, which could prove to play a decisive role later on, but it looks like DarkFlameMaster may go attack Humanstar. Yep, I don't know why he's doing this, but oh boy, indeed. It's a possibility. He does have...
A town is under siege.
That's possible. I'm having a really hard time hearing you. I'll just continue talking a little bit now while we're doing this. If you could continue observing, that'd be good. Humanstar nicely getting two priests out of the way using invisibility. Not sure what it's going to help, but I suppose that anything is something. And here comes a big fight, and that Torn Chieftain goes down, but it has revive on it. It is an 82 versus 68 fight right now, and that Shadow Hunter gets out of there. Humanstar comes over to do something. I'm not really sure what, but he is having a very hard time. There we go, staffs it out. And this could easily be DFM cleaning up Humanstar for continual. And he's putting up 3 expos currently. One of them has 500 gold, one of them has 4,000 but does not have any wisps in it. DFM is sitting at 58 food, a very odd choice here. Humi is producing tanks. It is easily going to be a all-out suicide from Humanstar, I suspect. DFM claiming that FD has an easy win, and that's probably correct. Oh, absolutely. I think DFM is incorrectly hitting Humanstar. I think that will lead to Humanstar suiciding DFM, be it through teaming or what. But I think Humanstar realizes that DFM has ruined any shot he has at winning of this, and now we'll just extract revenge. It does look like Firedragons can come in here and just clean up. And a nice job by Firedragon deciding that here's a weak person, they don't have much gold, let's take him out. It's very reminiscent of what he did to Persuade, and it's just a very brutal, very efficient style. It certainly has not been a very hard game for Firedragon, I wouldn't say. He has fought very well, he's done everything correctly, but he hasn't really been properly challenged here. Humanstar does make him TP back out. Firedragon gets out of there with 47 food, so he lost a significant bit, but he does have the gold to do it. Just a heads up, it's pretty much impossible to hear you. I'll try and give a quick recap of what you said, because I actually looked at FML and a lot of people can't hear you at all. He was just talking about how it's just so frustrating when you're not left alone, you can't get gold, and you get in a situation that seems completely unwinnable. Humanstar at this point, he had a decent early game. I mean, that was kind of the fight back and forth with Firedragon, but he has been completely over-teamed and taken out by DFM. DFM going for the full 100 army now. I don't know who he's going to go for. I hope he goes for Firedragon just so we can get the fight, if nothing else. But at this point, it's pretty much just a wrap-up for Firedragon. He'll go to one of the bases or the other, and it's kind of a formality at this point, unless that they start teaming him. This is really the time when you need team people. It's so easy to think that this is just kind of a three-way solo, but that's not the case. It's a question of playing smart, playing the way to win. Firedragon is not making any dumb moves currently. He's not trying to take them on 2v1. He is just methodically going one by one. I cannot emphasize how important that is. I mean, even now he's scouting properly. He knows that there's mass teleportation out. He doesn't want any critters. He doesn't want any invisible things to end up in his base. So he's taking this very carefully and doing a great job of it. DFM just kind of sitting around. He's not done any scouting recently. I'm not sure that he even knows that Humanstar is being taken out right now. Humanstar is not called for help yet. Here comes an invisible hippogriff that will scout it out, hopefully. There goes the level 6 ultimate from the Shadow Hunter. Yeah, it's... I don't want to say it's over yet, but it seems like it's formalities to me. And he's also doing a good job of not losing units this time. Last time Firedragon went into his base, he lost a lot of units to those tanks and Blizzard and just the general human heroes. I mean, even when humans down, same with Orc to be honest, they're both incredibly formidable just on their own merits. And Firedragon taking a lot more seriously. Now in comes DarkFlameMaster, forces Firedragon to TP out. And, okay, so we do have some proper teaming now. At least DFM is letting Humi live for what it matters. I'm not sure it does at all. But Firedragon lost about 30, 40 food on that. Quickly repumping. Still has 8,000 gold. Not a whole lot to be done here. DFM could make it pretty challenging, I think, if he coordinates with Humanstar and Humanstar uses mass TP in and out. He does have a... He, being DFM, does have a very solid army here. Silence is critical when fighting Orc, and he has a very strong anti-air army. Looking at it, he does have 3/3 upgrades, so those hippogriffs are not going to go down easily, neither the Druid of the Talons. So hopefully DFM brings this to Firedragon. We get to see a good 100v100 fight here. That is a lot of Troll Bat Riders, though. It could be very deadly depending on how they hit. There's a nice scroll, and poor usage of the Bat Riders there. Gonna allow the Keeper of the Grove to go ahead and re-hit. It does look like Humanstar down at the bottom is actually up. Humanstar is using the last to just completely suicide DFM. I can't say it's unexpected, but it is unfortunate because they were finally getting this teaming thing right. They could have made it a much more interesting game, but it does not appear that that will be so. I'm not sure I can say I blame Humanstar per se. You always like to see the game played out to the best of its ability. Ooh, bad TP there. Down goes the Paladin. Ooh, good save, good save. Let's see, but he's not going to be able to get away. I don't think he runs the wrong way. Pops his Divine Shield. He should be able to just track him, though. There's nothing on him to make him able to get away. And Tango should be up pretty soon, and as soon as that Divine Shield wears off, which should be in 5 seconds or so, down will go the Paladin, and oof, nice play by Humanstar, but does not pay off. I can hear you a little bit. Let me go on my phone onto the size. Renaud says that he can just faintly hear you. He's also said something I'm not very happy to hear, but I will save that as a surprise for the cast. It looks like Firedragon's fully at 100, has 5k gold. DFM has 800, that's enough to repump to 100 probably. Firedragon just kind of scouting, harassing. It looks like it's pretty much going to be a decimation. Humanstar, completely out of it. He does have his Archmage. He sold all items. Does not look like he has his Paladin anywhere, at least not anywhere that I can see. And it looks like Firedragon's going to go ahead and finish off Humanstar first, unless DFM beats him to it, which looks like he will. So at this point it might be interesting to see if DFM finishes off Humanstar. Could he play for a first place points-wise, get 11? I think that's certainly in play right here if he can have a solid fight. But it looks like, ooh, that is a rough bat. So nicely done by Firedragon there. Did not lose much, if anything, except for the bats, and he's going to be able to clean up Humanstar here. Yeah, the most interesting thing I've got right now is the 11 points idea. Yep, I think that's correct. I think that if he had just gone ahead and alt QQ'd as soon as he saw Firedragon coming in, then he may have had the shot at 11 points. But that's not really something you're thinking about as a free-for-all player when you're playing. You want to try and get that win. He does have enough to kind of rebuild for one last army, so let's see how this goes. And there goes the disconnection that Renaud was talking about. So that's a shame. At this point, DFM is actually solidly in first place for total score. I'm actually going to go over to the site and let's see if I can get any questions answered. If you want to flip through the score screen, I'm not sure what there is to look at, but you can point it out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Renaud if DFM got 11. But that's pretty much all I got. Looking back at the game, it was not a particularly good game. I think that it could have been much better if they had properly teamed. I'm not sure I can assign a fault to either Humanstar or DFM. However... What? Alright, well, I don't even know what the fuck happened. We will go to the end of the replay at some point, I guess. But right now, it's late for me, and honestly, with the stream not working too well, I think it's probably best that we go ahead and end this. But maybe we'll go ahead and do a special ending edition sometime, or you can look at it in your weekly roundup. But this is Mage, and I'm sure Redkeekee is saying this is Redkeekee, but we're both signing out.